These people are amongst the greatest quiz players in Britain. Together, they make up the Eggheads, arguably the most formidable quiz team in the country. The question is, can they be beaten? Welcome to a special celebrity edition of Eggheads, the show where a team of 5 quiz challengers pit their wits against possibly the greatest quiz team in Britain. They are the Eggheads. Here you are. You ready for the race?
Certainly are. On the blocks.
Good, very good. Trying to push our Goliaths into second place today are the Para Rangers. Now, this team of athletes have been thrilling us with their sporting excellence at Paralympic Games going back to Sydney 2000. They've set world records and won multiple medals, but will it be the Eggheads or the challengers running the victory lap at the end of the final round? Let's meet them.
I'm Danny Crates, former Paralympic athlete and gold medalist from Athens 2004. The only member of the team who's retired, an old has-been, I guess, but I now work as a motivational speaker and a little bit in television.
Hi, I'm Megan Julia. I am a paracyclist, track and road, and I am double world champion and world record holder and the scapegoat for the team.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Broom-Edwards. I'm a Paralympic high jumper and won silver medal at Rio.
Hi everyone, I am Steph Reed. I am a 3-time Paralympic medalist in athletics, and I am also a broadcaster, a speaker, and a fashion model.
Hi, I'm Dan Greaves, British Paralympic discus thrower, collecting 5 Paralympic medals at 5 games, and I also like to bench press.
So Danny and team, hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Great to see you. And Danny, I know this is not like your normal activities here. Are you prepped for this?
Yeah, I mean, I've played the app. I won't tell you how. I won't tell you how I got on, but I've played the app.
Have you, Eggheads, do you play your own app or not? No.
I didn't know we had one.
You are an app. Judith doesn't even know that. You've broken news to her. She doesn't even know she's an app. Yeah.
You're that modern.
Yeah. So, any particular subjects you're strong on, Danny, or where you think the team are weak, or?
I think my strongest subject is the life and works of Danny Crates, former Paralympic athlete. No, I'm probably more just general knowledge. I really don't have. I don't think I've got a specialist field, and it's definitely not sport.
Megan, how about you? I'm sure at some point you've all probably been answers on Eggheads, actually.
Well, for me, the only subject that really sticks in my head and I actually remember is anything to do with animals and dogs. So the chances are of that coming up is a fat chance.
Now, I don't know, well, that comes up in science, because Judith famously won a science round against a rocket scientist on a question about a plant.
Yes,
or was
animals, dogs and plants all come into science.
Yeah.
Yeah. So worth remembering. Okay. OK. Jonathan, do you watch the show? Have you seen
I've watched the show a couple of times.
Yeah.
I've also played the app relentlessly over the last 24 hours, trying to practice. And in terms of a subject I feel I'll be better at, maybe towards science or music. The others, sport, I'm actually quite naive in sport, so I don't think I'm going to do that well.
Danny said that as well, so the sports people are not necessarily knowledgeable about other sports than their own.
Well, I'm definitely the least knowledgeable out of all of us, I think. So.
Steph, are you the same?
Do you know, I love sport. The problem is I don't know much about football or cricket, and I feel like that's probably going to be the most popular, but I'm probably going to be most confident in science. My background is a biochemist.
We're getting a lot of science here. Did this come out during the strategy session? Or?
I'm the scapegoat, so I get whatever they don't know.
Oh, OK. The pressure in the booth, I'm always told, is considerable, because suddenly you get a question, you've got to get the answer out of your own brain. But then you're used to pressure, Steph, right?
Yeah, I think it can sometimes bring out the best in you. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Dan, how about you?
Yeah, you know, this is completely left field and not what we're used to, but I'm sure as a team, collectively, we'll be able to get a few questions right and put the Eggheads under some serious pressure, like we have our competitors.
When they go under pressure, these Eggheads, they can suddenly just collapse, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's definitely going to happen.
Tell our challengers here, are there gaps in your knowledge? Be honest.
Of course.
Are there things in the world you don't know? Judith?
Absolutely nothing in the world I don't know. I know everything. The last person in the world who knew everything was supposed to be Christopher Wren.
Is that right?
Yeah.
He would have been an Egghead, would he?
There's a fact.
Well, maybe Kevin is known as the Grandmaster, if you're new to the show, would be the modern Christopher Wren.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you very much. Yeah. So far, no one has asked me to design a cathedral or anything like that. Yeah.
Good luck, challengers.
Thank you.
All the best to you.
Need it.
Every day there is £1,000 worth of cash up for grabs for our challengers' chosen charity. However, if they fail to defeat the Eggheads, the prize money rolls over to the next show. So, Para Rangers, I can tell you that the recent celebrity teams have all come a cropper with these Eggheads, and they have won the last 7 games, so that means there's £8,000 for you to win today, which is, in a way, very good news. Would you like to try?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Great stuff. The first head-to-head battle is on the subject of film and TV. One of you needs to go in against either Judith, Kevin, Pat, Steve or Lisa.
I'll go for it if you want.
Yeah.
Jonathan is
Confident.
Take it.
Who's this going to be?
Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Yes.
OK. Jonathan against any one of the 5. Jonathan.
Let's go for Kevin. Just take
Should we
him
go
on.
Kevin? I've got.
Why not? What a great idea.
Wish me luck, Kevin. Let's
Start
do it.
early.
Yeah.
That's a very good idea. I like that. So Jonathan from the Para Rangers is taking on Kevin from the Eggheads right at the start here on film and TV. And just to ensure there's no conferring, would you please take your positions in our legendary question room? Well, Jonathan, your sporting history is really interesting because you never really saw yourself as a Paralympian at all, did you?
No, I didn't. It wasn't until I'd watched 2012 London Paralympic Games that I saw I could actually have competed as a high jumper. And I think my personal best at the time may have got, I think, 3rd at London 2012. I was classified just after 2012, actually.
And the condition would, I guess, would be called clubfoot, would it? Or
Yeah, clubfoot. It's otherwise known as talipes equinovarus. It's just a congenital deformity at birth. So my left foot doesn't function quite like my right one.
was it thrilling in Rio? I know you jumped more than 2 meters.
Coming back from injury, actually, to go out to Rio on the top stage and perform a season's best, I was quite happy with that. But it's given me the experience now to go forward towards Tokyo.
Oh, wonderful. Good luck against Kevin, Jonathan.
Thank
You're
you.
on film and TV. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first, please.
OK, so film and TV, Jonathan, against Kevin, and here is your question. Which of these TV presenters was born first? Ant McPartlin, Davina McCall, or Philip Schofield?
Don't actually know who Ant McPartlin is. I know Davina McCall's fairly young in comparison, I think. You know what, I'm going to go Ant McPartlin.
Born first. I think you will know Ant. He's one half of Ant and Dec.
Oh, no.
I think we had a question like this the other day, kids, and was it you, Judith, just went on who's got the most grey hair?
Yeah, well, Philip Schofield's got a lot of grey hair.
And Philip Schofield is the right answer. He's got the most grey hair. That seems to be the way to answer this one.
Philip Schofield has famously been grey since he was in his mid-20s and was still working on children's television, dyeing his hair.
Or dyeing it ungrey?
Yes.
Really? Philip Schofield is the answer, Jonathan. OK, your question, Kevin. In which part of the world is the 2015 film The Revenant set? Kevin, is it North America, Africa or Ireland?
Well, it's set on the frontier in what was to become the USA. It's North America.
North America is quite right. OK, Jonathan, back to you. Don't worry. The TV comedy series Fresh Meat is set in what sort of institution? Jonathan, is it hospital, university or army barracks?
I believe this is university.
You're quite right, it is university. Well done. Have you seen it?
I haven't watched it, but I remember it coming out.
That's good, because it would be very easy to go wrong there. Well done. Level with Kevin. Kevin, over to you. Selassie Gabomita found fame as a contestant on which TV show in 2016? Great British Bake Off, The Apprentice or Britain's Got Talent?
Right. Definitely not my sort of question. Don't watch any of those. I think at some point I read an article somewhere in relation to The Apprentice, and it gave the names of the various contestants, and obviously that's quite a distinctive name, and I don't recall it being one of those. I'm afraid as far as Britain's Got Talent's concerned, I haven't got the faintest. And obviously there are a lot of people get involved in that. I've got a faint idea from somewhere that there was somebody with an African background, shall we say. I may be completely off beam here, who was involved in the Great British Bake Off and may have had a distinctive name like that. It's all I've got to go on.
Lisa just blew you a kiss, Lisa.
Yes, Selassie was got a long way into the Great British Bake Off. He was my favourite.
Well done, Kevin. OK, Jonathan, you've got to get this one right.
Yep.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain is a famous line from which film? Casablanca, On the Waterfront, or The Wizard of Oz?
Could you repeat it, please?
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain is a famous line from which film?
I'm inclined to say it's not The Wizard of Oz. I'm going with my gut here. I'm going to say Casablanca.
Casablanca. Now, I think your teammates may know. Steph and Dan, you know this?
We think
I think it's Wizard of
Oz.
Oz.
It's Wizard of Oz.
Oh, my God.
It's the last scene. Remind us, you've seen it recently, maybe? What's it? That last scene, is it?
It's with the wizard, isn't it?
Yeah.
When he's not.
Yeah.
When he's.
You find out he's not actually that
He's
you know,
not up
big
to
and-
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Wizard of Oz is the answer, Jonathan. So Kevin has knocked you out. Kevin, you'll be in the final round, but it's early days. Come on, challengers, you can do this. Do return to us. We'll play round 2. All right, as it stands, the Power Rangers have lost a brain from the final round. The Eggheads are still all sitting there, and your next subject is history. Who would like this?
Didn't one of our team members say history?
I thought someone mentioned history earlier.
I'm the scapegoat, yes.
There is no scapegoat.
No.
Yeah,
no.
right.
No one wants history.
Right, it's mine. There we go.
Go on.
Okay,
have it.
Megan.
Sure?
Yeah, I know
stuff.
naffle, but let's go for it.
Our cyclist against which Eggheads? So who looks a little bit unsighted on world events?
Who is not making eye contact? That's how we
That's
go
a
with.
very good way. They don't
Steve,
look
Steve
they
it
don't
is.
make a lot of eye contact.
Steve, it is.
Unless he's doing some reverse psychology.
Yeah.
Nah.
OK, Megan from the Power Rangers against Steve from the Eggheads. On history, is that OK with you, Megan? I guess it has to be.
It has to be. Yeah, I'm taking one for the team here.
Please take your positions now. Well, Megan, firstly, congratulations on Rio.
Thank you.
The first gold, I think, at the Paralympic Games for us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was. It was. Came as a bit of a shock, really. Didn't have a clue where I was going to place, and I came first. What can I say?
And remind us of the event.
The event was the 3-kilometre pursuit in track. So basically, I go round in a circle, I chase the person in front of me, they're back behind, and I go past them. And that's exactly how I did it.
And we've noted your T-shirt, OCD, Obsessive Cycling Disorder. So it's become your addiction and your life.
Oh, very much so. It's the biggest part of my life.
And I know your life changed when you were 27, and in a most unexpected way.
Yeah, when I was 27, so January 2013, I actually walked into A&E. I was diagnosed eventually after going through all the processes of having a subarachnoid brain hemorrhage. So basically a stroke. I had a bleed on the brain, and the only option was to operate. So they did that, and it left me with right side weakness and a variety of neurological and physical difficulties. And I used cycling as my focus. And look where I am now. I've made what was a negative situation into probably the most positive one in my life.
It's brilliant. And I know you also always, when you compete, you talk about other people who've had their lives changed by a stroke, and they may not be elderly.
Yeah, no. So every ride I do, any main events, I dedicate every race to someone and their family, because it's not just the survivor, whether it be stroke or cancer, it's also the family around them, the carers, the support network. They all suffer in their own way. And just by doing that, it puts a bit of pressure on me, because not only do I inspire people, they inspire me, and it makes me want to win even more. So, and that's where I get my drive and determination and focus from.
And did I see, am I remembering this right, that in Rio for you, the focus was a 10-year-old boy?
Yes, Alistair Rowan. I'm actually going to see him at some point this year, and I sent him down some goodies for Christmas and his brother. But yeah, he's planning on smashing me at badminton. So we'll see what happens. I'm probably going to land on my face, to be fair.
Oh, well, I bet he's watching now. Good luck, Megan.
Thank you.
Here we go, then. From the Power Rangers, it's Megan against Steve from the Eggheads. And would you like to go first or second on this round, Megan?
Oh, I'll go first. Let's get it out of the park.
OK, here we go. History, Megan, and your first question. The Norman conquest of Britain, led by William the Conqueror, took place in which year? 1066, 1272, or 1415?
Well, I'm sure my partner at home is probably kicking me straight away, because I have no idea. Numbers just don't stick out to me, other than 1066, the Battle of Hastings. So I'm just going to kind of go with that, but I have a feeling it's probably not.
Let's check with Steve. Steve?
It's good, that's right, I said, yeah.
And Megan's absolutely right, at Battle of Hastings, 1066,
Yeah,
and that was the whole start of it, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
OK, Megan, you're bang on, well done, 1066. And all that, there's a book, isn't there, with that title? OK, Steve, which of these historical empires was established first? The Roman Empire, British Empire, or Mongol Empire?
Yeah, I think that must be the Roman Empire, Jeremy.
What about the Mongols? You weren't tempted by that?
No, that's much later.
Well, how much later?
What are they, about 12th century, something like that, 13th? And then British Empire obviously got bigger. It's like, well, probably from time Elizabeth I onwards, really.
Roman Empire is quite right. Well done. Megan, one each, back to you. In Anglo-Saxon culture, what were barrows? Weapons, boats, or funeral mounds? Barrows.
Barrows. I just think wheelbarrow. Where does that fit in? I'm going to go into weapons. I like the idea of it just being weaponry, to be fair.
OK, weapons is your answer. It's actually funeral mounds. I guess they, in a funny way, they probably look like upside-down wheelbarrows, but Eggheads, what's the derivation of that word?
Well, they were mounds because they were mounds of earth that were formed, but there were different types. There were round barrows, long barrows.
And does the word barrow lead us to mound in any way?
No, not as such. It's a kind of back derivation. They came to be known as barrows much later when the early archaeologists discovered them. And they thought that, in fact, it was a sort of a fancied resemblance to something like an upside-down wheelbarrow that made people first use the word, I think.
Ah, right.
So the term stuck, even though other types were later discovered.
OK. Steve, your question to take the lead. In which year did the Cuban Missile Crisis take place? 1952, 1962, or 1972?
Well, it was famously Kennedy v. Khrushchev. It's 1962, Jeremy.
1962 is correct. So he's taken the lead. We're in slightly the same spot we were in the last round, Megan, here. Get this one right.
Come on, Megan.
Come on then, Kel. Your team are really backing you. Here we go. Take your time. The philosopher Aristotle was the tutor of which historical ruler? Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, or Charlemagne?
They all just sound amazing. What can I say? Alexander the Great.
Alexander the Great is the correct answer.
Knew it, see?
Brilliant. 2 each. Let's remember this moment. You've drawn level with Steve. Steve can go wrong here. Let's see what happens. History, we're on. You can get in the final with this, Steve. Which of these battles took place in 1862 and has been described as the bloodiest day in American history? Is it Antietam, Little Bighorn, or Bunker Hill?
Yeah, I think, I don't know if it's Kevin will know this, First Battle of Bull Run alternative name, but it's Antietam.
Antietam, let's see with Kevin. Kevin, is that the right answer?
Antietam is the right answer, yes. It's not the same thing as First Bull Run, which was the year before, but there was a second Battle of Bull Run, which was very close to Antietam. It was within a couple of weeks. But Antietam, also known as Sharpsburg, was the bloodiest single day in American military history.
The answer is Antietam. So we say, well done, Steve. You got 3 out of 3. Sorry, Megan, beaten by our egghead, but 2 out of 3 right answers, really good. Please return to us and we'll play round 3. Right, the Para Rangers have lost 2 brains from the final round. The eggheads are still sitting there. Now's probably the moment to turn it on. The next subject is sport. I think that's good, though, isn't it?
OK.
Dan on the end. And who would you like to take on? Obviously, can't be Kevin or Steve.
I'd like to face Judith, please.
Very good. So Dan from the Para Rangers. I bet that you're pleased about that.
I'm thrilled.
Going in
It's gonna ruin you,
on
mate.
Judith, on sport. Please take your positions. Well, your sport is discus, Dan.
Yeah, that is very aptly named, isn't it?
And what brought you to that in the first place?
It was at high school. My PE teacher was a hammer thrower, and he saw that I could throw it much further than the other kids. So really, he told me to go to a local athletics club, and it all started from there. And it's a bit like golf. Some days you can have really good days, and other days, you know, it's really frustrating and it's quite challenging. So I just loved it.
And I always think it's the absolute perfect combination of strength and skill.
Yeah, you have to almost be like ballerina-like. You have to really get across the circle, be on your toes, but then also apply the power when it's needed, Otherwise, you know, it could go straight in the ground or it could, you know, fly, and obviously we all want it to fly.
And what's been your proudest sporting moment, do you think?
I think Paralympic gold in Athens 2004 is right up there, but also my silver in London is close to my heart because it's, you know, in front of all my friends and family. So that would be a lasting memory.
And that moment in London was almost the best Paralympic moment we've ever seen, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, it was fantastic to have. I competed on Thriller Thursday, 85,000 people going bonkers, and to be honest, as a sportsman and a bit of a sports fan, I got to see David Weir, Hannah, Johnny, all from the middle of the arena compete and win, and, you know, I had the best seat in the house.
The fact that it sold every seat and the whole country got behind it, didn't it? It was great.
Yeah, the public really just fell in love with Paralympics and hopefully still do. We've got the London World Championships in July, and hopefully we can get bums on seats and everyone can come and support the GB athletes in July in London.
Brilliant stuff. So we're going on sport now, Dan, which I know is a mixed blessing because it's, in a way, on paper it's your strongest subject, but sometimes that brings stress with it. We had an interesting incident the other day with you and Thomas, the sprinter, Judith, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And will you just remind us what happened?
Well, he'd been on Celebrity Eggheads once before, and had chosen me for sport. And by sheer fluke, I beat him. Anyway, he came again, and he's been sort of thinking about it ever since and wanted his revenge.
And what happened?
And I'm afraid he lost again. Only the worst thing was that I guessed all my answers.
Judith's got a bit of a record because she's done a rocket scientist on science. You won that. Edwina Curry you beat on politics. And you beat somebody I think we can describe as a geographer on geography. So I thought the other day when we had the chefs in, you were going to do a chef on food and drink, but it didn't happen.
I wish I had. Collect the whole bouquet, as it were.
All right, well, good luck here, Dan, against the great Judith, who can be formidable. Dan, would you like to go first or second?
I'll go first, please.
Here we go. John Terry has played over 700 matches for which London football club? Arsenal, Chelsea, or Tottenham Hotspur?
Well, being a big football fan, I definitely know it's not Arsenal or Spurs, and that would be Chelsea.
Chelsea is the right answer.
Come on, Dad.
Judith, this is your question. Which of these sports was invented first? Golf, baseball, or rugby league?
Oh, well, I know that golf is very, very old, and I think it was invented in Scotland. So I imagine it's golf.
And you imagine right, it is golf. OK, Dan, this is your question. Which of these sportsmen retired from competition after breaking his neck in 2 places in 2000 before reversing his decision 2 years later? Was this Nick Skelton, Martin Johnson, or Lennox Lewis?
Oh, I don't know whether it's Lennox Lewis. I think he might have retired beforehand. And the only reason I can think of Nick Skelton is probably a jumping accident. Martin Johnson, I think, retired after the... Oh, actually, no. It's Martin Johnson. I think he did retire, but then came back for the World Cup in 2002. That's my instinct.
And your answer is?
Martin Johnson.
OK, let's see if your teammates know here. Is it Martin?
I thought Nick Skelton.
We guessed
Nick Skelton.
Yeah, you actually kind of referred to it in a way. I think it was a horse-related accident, wasn't it? So it was Nick Skelton who then competed in Rio.
Yes,
Yeah.
and won gold.
And won gold, exactly. Nick Skelton is the answer, Dan. Judith, your question. How many individual goalposts are on the field in a game of Australian rules football? 2, 8, or 12?
Well, there are bound to be 2 lots of goals, aren't there? So if it was 2, it would be a pole at each end, which doesn't seem likely. 8 would be the same as ordinary football, wouldn't it? What would 12 look like? It would be 6 at each end. Well, why should Australian football be so different? I'm going to say 8.
I don't know how you got to that answer. We can
4
work
at
on-
each end.
Can anybody help us here? Who's got the sight on this?
Well,
Pat.
at each end, they've got 2 very tall central posts, and if you kick the ball through there, you get a certain score. And they have on the other side, on outside, they've got 2 smaller ones, and if you go through there, you get a behind, which is a lower score. So there are different ways you can score, but there are 4 posts at each end.
I've got that, but I'm visualising 2 tall posts plus 2...
Shorter ones.
Oh, so it's only 2 shorter ones, so that's...
At each end.
4 at each end, OK.
4 at each end.
4 vertical posts, 2
4 vertical posts,
ones.
2 tall, 2 short. It's simple as that, Judith. Pat's explained it. 4 vertical posts, 2 tall, 2 short at each end.
That makes 8.
It makes 8. You've just nailed it.
Oh.
I don't know what you were visualising. I want to see inside your mind. 8 is the right answer. Oh, that's infuriating, isn't it, Dan?
Oh, yeah.
There is a certain, all respect to my friend here, a certain sporting deficit. You've just got to exploit it. Get this right to stay in. Before Adam Peaty in 2016, Dan, who was the last British man to win an Olympic gold medal in swimming? Duncan Goodhue, David Wilkie, or Adrian Morehouse?
I can remember Duncan Goodhue winning a few medals in swimming as I was a keen swimmer when I was younger. I don't know too much about David Wilkie, but I know that Adrian Morehouse, I think, won a medal at major championships and is probably the strongest standout name at an Olympic Games before Adam Peaty, so my answer is Adrian Morehouse.
Great quizzing, you're right. Adrian Morehouse is correct. So level, but Judith has this question in hand. Which British competitor won medals in both athletics and in cycling at the 2016 Paralympic Games? Is it Jodie Cundy, Kadina Cox, or Libby Clegg?
Oh, dear. Both athletics and cycling. I think it's Kadina Cox.
Let's check with our challengers here.
Yeah.
Paralympian.
Sadly, yes. Yeah, it's Kadina.
Sadly, yes, it is Kadina Cox. You got 3 out of 3. She is very good at that, Dan. She just a tiny little inkling.
I know, isn't she? Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Just that rude, that second question.
I was just thinking, and I think you knew Nick Skelton as well. Dan, sorry, beaten by our egghead. Judith will be in the final. So come back to us. We've got 1 more round to play. Judith, I know we got into a bit of a tangle there. After the game today, we'll do a bit of a sketch.
A drawing of it,
yes.
And
maybe Pat could do it for us, and we can both all see exactly how these posts work.
I'll look it up online, the rules and everything.
Yes, and then just have an idea of the posts.
Yes.
We can have a look at them. OK. As it stands, the Power Rangers have lost 3 brains from the final round. The Eggheads, rather annoyingly, haven't lost 1 yet. The next subject is geography. Oh. So it's going to be Danny or Steph?
Right. I think, should we let them choose?
Maybe, yeah.
Guys, choose.
No, like,
well, you want us to choose?
Who's better at general knowledge?
Or who's the most travelled out of you?
Well, it doesn't work with geography, does it?
No, but you would have visited places and you might pick up things, you know.
I'm happy to go if you don't want to do it. I mean,
Let's let the team choose.
Choose. You can choose one of us, because one of us has got to do the general knowledge at the end.
Yeah.
So. Because then the one who goes last is going to have to face.
I know, it's all 5. It's really scary.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Go for it.
1, 2, 3.
OK.
You go.
Oh, I'm going.
Stone, blunt, scissors.
So I'm going, right?
Steph, you're going.
Good luck, Steph.
OK.
Brilliant. Choose an egghead. You can have either Pat or Lisa.
Pat looks so happy and eager.
Pat looks quite nice.
Yeah, I feel like hanging out with Pat in the booth.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Pat.
OK. Steph from the Power Rangers taking on Pat from the Eggheads. Our last round here. To ensure there's no conferring, please go to the question room. Steph, I thought you were probably the natural choice for geography because you've lived all over, haven't you?
Well, see, now you're setting me up. I have. So the short version is I was born in New Zealand to British parents who immigrated to Canada. I then married a Canadian who was living in Dallas, Texas, and then moved back to the UK in 2010.
And you came back to the UK to compete and live and all of that?
Yes, yeah. And so I was living and training in London ahead of London 2012.
And you were always very sporty, weren't you? It was just a matter of working out exactly which one to go for.
It was. I played all sorts of sports, but I absolutely fell in love with rugby when I was 12. And that was actually my original dream. I wanted to play internationally. And then I was in a boating accident when I lost part of my right leg. And that was, I couldn't play rugby anymore, but I had always been quite fast. And so someone said, you know, why don't you go and see how fast you still are?
And it's worked out brilliantly. I know that you won long jump silver at London 2012. You're at Rio, and you're the reigning European long jump champion, 5-time world record holder. My goodness me.
Yeah, it's funny. At that moment, you think that you've lost your dream, and then actually it comes back to you in the most unexpected way possible.
Well, that's one of the reasons I'm guessing why you speak motivationally as well.
Yeah, I think it's the reality is life is hard. It's hard for everyone, and sometimes we just need reminding that challenges are. It's good to be forced to grow and to learn new things about yourself, and even though it's hard, it's that idea of overcoming and becoming a better version of you.
I know you also work as a fashion model and have been nicknamed the Blade Stunner.
So about in 2015, I was asked if I wanted to walk London Fashion Week runway, and which was hugely nerve-wracking. But that's part of the great thing about being in sport. You get asked to do all sorts of things that you never would have thought possible. And I just kind of have a policy of saying yes to everything, at least once, like Eggheads.
Well, good. We're so glad you did, and it's inspiring just listening to you. So you're up against Pat, and it's geography. I'm hoping we get a bit of New Zealand or Canada or one of your many countries. Would you like to go first or second against Pat, Steph?
I think I would like to go first.
Steph, here we go. Geography, your first question. What is the approximate population of China? 14 million, 140 million, or 1.4 billion?
I think 14 and 140 million are just way too small. I know in India it's at least 1 billion, and China's bigger than India. And based on the results from Paralympics and how well China always does and tops the table, I'm going to go with 1.4 billion.
1.4 billion is quite right. Eggheads, is that the most populous country?
Yeah.
In the world, 1.4 billion?
It's reckoned that India will overtake it by the middle of the 21st century.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's not so far off, really, in those large terms.
OK, Pat, your question. Which of these rivers is the longest? Thames, Nile, or Tiber?
Well, the Nile is the longest of all rivers, so it's the Nile.
The Nile is the longest of all. Quite right. They just know these facts. The Nile is the longest of all. And I try and remember, Steph, and he says it, and then next week I'll have forgotten. OK, your question. What is the capital of Sicily? Cagliari, Palermo, or Naples?
I've not been there. I feel like Naples is a city in Italy. I think I'm going to go with Cagliari.
Cagliari is not it. It's Palermo. Just try and work this out. Pat, is Cagliari in the Italian mainland?
It's on the Italian island of Sardinia.
And there's two islands, right? Sicily and Sardinia.
Two big islands.
Yeah.
Sardinia in the north and Sicily just off the toe of Italy.
So we've got Cagliari as the capital of one and Palermo as the capital of the other.
And Naples is on the mainland.
That's right. OK. Sorry, Steph, that's a bit of a stinker there. Palermo is the answer. OK. We go back to you, Pat. The Vaal is a major river in which country? It's spelt V-A-A-L. South Africa, France, or Japan?
Well, it's quite a German/Dutch sounding name, and it leads to the area of South Africa called the Transvaal, which is that area beyond the River Vaal. It's in South Africa.
South Africa is correct. He's taken the lead. Got to get this one right to stay in, or Danny's going to be lonely in the final round. Go on, Steph, we're rooting for you here. Which geographical feature in Africa has a local name meaning the smoke that thunders? Sahara Desert, Victoria Falls, or Mount Kilimanjaro?
I've not really heard that, but the smoke that thunders, I associate smoke with some sort of volcano, some sort of mountain. But then Victoria Falls, maybe as it comes down, it's the mist. Obviously, no, people climb Mount Kilimanjaro. It can't be some sort of active volcano. I think I'm gonna have to go with, and then I'm torn Sahara Desert. What if there's a sandstorm? And then that can kind of look like smoke. I think I'm gonna go with Victoria Falls.
Victoria Falls is the correct answer. Well done. I'm guessing, but I reckon your reasoning is 100% right. Okay, Pat, your question. You can take the round with this, although we're secretly hoping you don't. What is the official title of the country of San Marino? Is it the Gracious Principality of San Marino, the Bountiful Duchy of San Marino, or the Most Serene Republic of San Marino?
It's one of the oldest republics in Europe, which suggests the rightmost answer. I don't think it's got either a prince or a duke. I think it dates back to around the turn of the millennium as a republic. So the most serene Republic of San Marino looks like the best option there.
The most serene Republic of San Marino. Eggheads, is he right?
Yeah.
You're right, Pat. 3 out of 3 means you've been beaten by our Egghead and have been knocked out, and it's going to be a lonely time in the final for Danny, but he can still do it. There's no question about that. Please return to your teams, and we'll see what happens. So this is what we have been playing towards. It is time for our final round. As always, it's general knowledge. But I'm afraid those of you who lost your head-to-heads won't be allowed to take part in this round. So Megan, Jonathan, Steph, and Dan from the Para Rangers, I'm so sorry you've got to leave the studio. Well, Danny, I know it wasn't supposed to be like this.
I feel a little bit alone.
You're used to adversity. You were a sports person, you had your accident, and you still are, and in fact, a very, very successful one.
Yeah, I mean, sport's always been my life. I've always played it. I played rugby when I was younger, ran when I was younger, played rugby after my accident, and I still sort of still try to play rugby now, just a lot slower. But
I've seen actually film of you, because a lot of people who play rugby would say, how can you play rugby with one arm? But I've actually seen film of you scoring a try.
Yeah, that happens a lot less nowadays, the scoring side to it. I've got 2 children that play rugby as well, and I'm very proud that they're rugby players, and they tend to score more a week than I get in a season. But I'm just trying to keep in as long as I can.
I know you won 800 metres gold at Athens, didn't you? Was that your proudest moment?
Probably, yeah. I mean, there's been a few. That was because of it was the culmination of all the years in the sport. I've been in international athletics since '98, and I won my first Paralympic gold in 2004. I got the bronze 4 years before that in Sydney. But probably the proudest was when I was the flag bearer in 2008, because to be nominated by your team and to lead your team out in the opening ceremonies, you know, it's probably the greatest honour you can ever have bestowed upon you, and that was probably my proudest moment. And I saw that, and I saw how emotional you were during it. I saw as you walked with it, you just looked very, very, well, tearful, I guess. It is, because I meant to walk out with the Union Jack, and I'd had a really turbulent year with injury, and I'd only kind of just made it onto the team. And then, sadly, off the back of that, the very next day, less than 24 hours after that huge high, I tore my calf muscle. And, yeah, and that was my Beijing Games over. But having that honour was huge. And we'll have people watching who've had some kind of reverse in life. And yours, you know, you lost your arm in a road crash. So what's your key piece of advice? Because some people just don't recover from those kinds of things. I've always had this belief that things happen for reasons. And it's not a spiritual belief, and it just things happen for reasons, and you make something out of it, and that's what I did. So, and the way I always got through it was I always set myself that next little goal, that next little stepping stone. So for rugby was always my life. And although it sounds a bit Hollywood, it's the truth, I promise you. I was laying in a ditch, while I was holding my arm, and the lady that came to my aid, who just heard the accident, I had a conversation with her about my rugby career being over, because for me, rugby was everything. And so that was the first thing for me, was to get back on the pitch, and I did that within 6 months. And then the athletics finally came along, and it's always been like the next thing to aim for, and that's kind of what I've always done. I've always aimed for the next thing. Brilliant. Well, here we are with the very next thing. Oh, this was the next thing on my list, yeah. Good luck. You can do it. We've seen them all 5 against 1 player, and then the single player takes them down. It's happened. You're now playing to win the Para Rangers £8,000. Lisa, Steve, Pat, Kevin, Judith, you're playing for something that money can't buy, which is the Eggheads' reputation. As usual, I'll ask each team 3 questions in turn. This time, they're all general knowledge. You may confer. Sorry, that doesn't help you. Danny, the question is, can your one brain defeat these 5? I'm sure it's possible. Would you like to go first or second? Do you know what? Going first hasn't gone well for my team today. So I'm probably going to kick myself, but I'm going to say go second. OK, so Eggheads have the first question, and here we go. Which of these words is a name for a confused fight or scuffle? Is it melee, pandemic, or sassafras?
Sassafras is an American drink, isn't it?
Melee.
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 Sounds good to me, kids. That's a melee, Jeremy.
Melee is right. OK, Danny, your question. What is the name of the self-made millionaire who adopts the title character in the stage musical Annie? Is this Charles Foster Kane, Montgomery Burns, or Daddy Warbucks?
Funnily enough, Annie is not a stage show I probably have watched. I'm going to take a massive guess and say Charles Foster Kane.
Now, Charles Foster Kane, I think, might have been Citizen Kane. Is that right, Eggheads?
Mm-hmm.
Who's Montgomery Burns?
From The Simpsons.
From The Simpsons, I should know that. The answer is Daddy Warbucks. Not one you've shown your kids yet?
Not yet, no.
No.
I'm going to.
I haven't either. Eggheads, to go 2 ahead. What was the nickname of the French singer Edith Piaf? Was she the little cuckoo, the little sparrow, or the little blackbird?
Little sparrow.
Sparrow, wasn't she?
Sparrow.
The sparrow?
Yeah, little sparrow.
Mm-hmm. She was the little sparrow.
As we indeed call you, Lisa. With your singing skills.
Not so little sparrow, yeah.
The little sparrow is right. Now they've gone 2 ahead. A bit too quickly for our comfort here. Danny, just get this one right to stay in. The Reichenbach Falls in Switzerland are the setting for a climactic battle featuring which fictional character? Is it Sherlock Holmes, James Bond, or Tarzan? The Reichenbach Falls, I can spell that if you like, in Switzerland, is the setting for a climactic battle featuring which fictional character?
I'm not sure. I think it's either Holmes or Bond, and it was quite a recent one, wasn't it? When he let someone go over the edge. I think I'm going to go Sherlock Holmes.
This is a famous battle with, is it Moriarty?
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes is right. Nicely done, Danny, because it would have been easy to go for Tarzan there. Right, Eggheads, you can take it with this answer. I really hope you don't. Oops, I blurted out my own feelings. Here's your question. Which of these is a common translation of the German word Tannenbaum? Christmas tree, Father Christmas, or reindeer?
Christmas tree.
Yeah, it's Christmas tree, isn't it?
Oh, Tannenbaum, oh, Tannenbaum.
Tannenbaum.
How lovely are your branches. It's not really working for reindeer or Father Christmas, is it? Yeah. Baum is the German word for tree. It's a Christmas tree.
What do you think?
I think their smiles, as soon as you said the word, gave it away.
Yeah, that's right. It's when they start to know the answer before I've said the options.
Yeah.
That's the thing that gets me every time. If you've got this right, the contest is over. The correct answer is Christmas tree. We say congratulations, Eggheads, you have won. I think the Annie one was tricky at the start.
I'm not an Annie man.
I think 1 or 2 of the other celeb teams have been down to a single person. It's very hard when you can't confer. But Danny, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed it.
It was wonderful. Yeah, it's lovely to stand up against you guys, you know?
Well, the firepower here, sometimes when they get something they can't get and they're truffling around is fascinating to watch. So thank you for playing, Power Rangers. Lovely to see you.
Cheers for your help, guys.
Commiserations challengers. The Eggheads have done what comes naturally to them most of the time. This winning streak against the celebrities continues. So the challengers don't go home with the £8,000 for their charities. We'll roll that over, shall we, to our next celebrity show. Eggheads, congratulations. Are you going to get to the very end of the celeb shows without losing? I wonder. Join us next time to see if a new team of celebrity challengers have the brains to defeat the Eggheads. There'll be £9,000 to play for. We're nearly in 5 figures. Until then, goodbye.